So yeah, Chris told me this is, or rather, I guess Twitter told me that this is supposed to be like a family show or something. So I'm gonna do my best to hide my swearing in the
Well,
future.
I thought I censored them all good when I did it, but I might have missed it. So missed a
You
few.
missed a few, but I want to get this out of the way right now. So uh,
Okay.
here you go, Chris. This clip is for you. Fuck shit, damn ass, cunt, bitch, motherfucker, piece of shit. God damn it, motherfucker. All right.
Does that pretty
Edit.
much sum up every article?
Um, yeah, I think so. All right. So now that I got my swearing out of the way.
Okay. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right. This is Pauper of the People. With me tonight is Chris,
Hello.
and Peter will not be with us tonight. He is taking the night off. So,
It's rough work being a
you,
podcast host.
all right. It's just stressful. So we'll see him next week. So it's just me and Chris tonight. But how was your week, Chris?
It was pretty good. You know, getting today off because of good old Veterans Day.
Yep, it's good. Do you do any dailies at all?
Oh, I did a ton of dailies. I did Azorius Kitty, played that in the daily,
Yeah.
which is the acid trip combo. I 2-2'd with it, and I lost twice to Affinity. So I was like, ah, man, if I was just playing Delver, I could have countered all those stupid things. So I played Delver in the next daily, and I 4-0'd it. It's pretty sweet, and I actually won the tournament.
Nice.
And then Wizards decided not to post the tournament results from the ninth, so I didn't get published.
Isn't that depressing? It's like I won.
Yeah, it was like Seaweaver won the tournament. It was the biggest tournament of the day too. It was 119 people.
Yeah.
It was the ninth
Yeah.
tournament.
That's
So it was the biggest tournament of the day. And then this morning I played Urzatron in a daily. 2-2'd that. I lost to Delver Fiend and the Mirror,
Oh.
and that's on the Magic Gathering Strat YouTube channel, and we'll put the links to that in the show notes.
Yep.
I also played one of the 2 Ticket Tuesday events, and I got 3 booster packs from it.
That's cool.
So I was like, what, the semifinals? I don't remember.
Oh. Yeah.
No, wait,
That's
I
cool.
got no,
What?
I got 2 booster packs. Sorry.
Oh, at least you got something for it.
Yeah, two boosters. So I got 3rd place or 4th place or something, and for that, pretty sweet, I'd say.
And how long is that going on?
The month of November, I believe.
Yeah, so we're gonna be talking about it here in news here shortly. So,
Yeah.
but yeah. Anything else, or is about it?
What else? Well, I played the Justin Team League,
Yeah.
and Team DBC beat us pretty handily. E-Hustle took us down, took down me and Sneak Attack Kid with his Tortured Existence deck,
Yeah.
and then Drinkard, who's our 3rd teammate, beat him with Stompy, and then Mezzle beat Drinkard with Delver. So we lost that. I played, what is it? The Academy Showcase, the Pauper 8 man that Justin was running too.
Oh.
And I played some Ghoul Razor Mono Black Control there, lost to Jason the Mind Sculptor, who writes for MTGO Strat. He was playing Affinity, and he just ran over me with you know,
Affinity does that.
a million 4/4s on turn 3, so
Yeah, Affinity does that.
yeah. What else was there? I think that was it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Yeah. Anything else?
Trying to put together a standard Selesnya beatdown deck, and
Yeah.
I don't have Voice of Resurgence because it's expensive.
Yeah, you need that card to make Celestial work.
I mean, the deck is strong enough that I'm winning pretty handily in practice, but you know,
So-
practice is obviously not
Voice of Resurgence, Celestia is a good deck, but Voice of Resurgence just puts it right over the top of the hill and sends it down. Because it's ridiculous. Just ridiculous.
Yeah. So if I ever accumulate enough tickets, I'll buy a playset of Voice of Resurgence, and I actually have a standard deck. I have everything else for the deck except for Voice.
Yeah. What have I been doing? I'm actively doing Belts' EDH League at the store, starting this last Tuesday or this last Thursday. So now I've been going through all of my EDH decks and making them league worthy because there's a big difference between the group I play EDH with when we meet at my house on Saturdays and the league group that plays at the store. There's a big difference. So I've had to rethink like all my EDH decks. So spent a lot of time doing that the last few days. Been trying to get online and messing around with the brew of the month, which mono green has been kind of hard going. Right, I really feel that there's just not with the other stuff leaving, that there's not a whole lot out there to make mono green viable with the current metagame. It's really, really hard.
Yeah, that's what I came to as well. Like, the same kind of conclusion that I came to. It's just, like, the only way that I've been winning games is typically, like, they don't have the right removal, or they just don't have any removal, or they get mana screwed or something.
Yeah, it's so hard. It's like there's not enough green to make it work. So I'm still working on it. I haven't given up on it, but it's been hard. It's been a huge uphill battle.
Yeah, and it gets really hard too because I think the mono black devotion is just too good.
Yeah, mono black devotion is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like if all they need to do is remove one or two of your guys and then play a gray merchant, and you're just like, well, now I lose because you gained all the life that I had beaten you down with before.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. It's just really hard,
and it's not fast enough either. That's really the biggest problem. Is it's just not fast enough.
Yeah, and that's the big thing about Green Stompy and Classic. You look at the Green Stompy build in Classic, and it's all 1-drop, 2-drop beaters that get big really fast, and you don't have that in the standard meta at all. It's all your green beaters are instead 3s and 4s, and 3 and 4 is just too slow.
Yeah, and I goldfish like a turn 5 kill with the deck, but that's assuming no interactions at all, and your opponent doesn't have any blockers or any removal.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, and turn 5 is like what White Weenie does in Classic Pauper. So White Weenie's like a fair deck in Classic. So.
Oh, yeah, so been doing that. I'm on my last week of work at the school because I put my 2-week notice in because I just night shift and that is not working out. So had that. I've been just started that this week, and then I'll have hopefully more time to get more stuff done around here, done with the show and just life in general.
Yeah.
Getting ready for this weekend because we got this coming weekend because we have our tabletop night. I have a bunch of my friends coming over. We're gonna play some tabletop over here at my house. Some Legendary and big game that we all like to play, Legendary, and a whole bunch of other games, BattleTech and stuff. So getting that ready. That's about all I've been up to though. So
sounds pretty nifty.
Oh yeah, I like playing video games, but the more I've been getting in the tabletop, the more I am not liking video games. I've found that playing tabletop's just a lot more fun because it's like you playing video games, you're not really interacting with anyone, and like you sit down at a table and play like a game like Legendary or whatever the game may be. Another one is Hoplomachus, which is a local game that a local game creator invented or designed that's fun. It's a lot more fun sitting across the table from a bunch of people and playing. It's just more fun. I mean, the social interaction is just worth it. So
is that why people play Paper Magic?
Yeah, social interaction. It's really weird.
I don't know.
But you have to have the right group of friends to do that too. It's just not necessary. I mean, necessarily doesn't work with everyone, but if you have that group of friends, it tends to be really, really fun. So
yeah, I can't do it with the family around and everything.
Yeah,
taking off all that time away from the family, and then
Yeah.
yeah.
It takes a little bit of time scheduling and stuff, but it's like one day. It's like maybe one day, and then the rest of the week is all doing stuff, other stuff. So, but yeah. Other than that, yeah. So yeah, this is a Pauper cast. Want to wish all our veterans out there a very happy Veterans Day for serving our great country and all that. So
Yay.
yeah. But yeah, as you mentioned before, 2 Ticket Tuesdays. That's there's an article on it here that I posted. It's given all the information on it. Seems like it's going the whole month of November on Tuesdays, and it sounds like you already once gotten some decent stuff out of it.
Yeah, you actually have to have 2 wins to get anything. So it's a lot. It's not as good a value as I thought it was. It's still really good value.
Yeah.
But it's 32 player events, and you win prizes based on how much you win. So first place gets 6 packs, second place gets 4 packs, third and fourth place get 2 packs, and fifth through 8th place get 1 pack. So you need to win 2 rounds to be in the top 8.
Yeah.
And you get the 1 booster pack.
Yeah.
And then everything else you win from that obviously goes up to the finals. The big draw of this really is it's phantom sealed, by the way.
Ooh, that's cool.
So the big draw of this is it's only 2 tickets, right? So you can play, and it's worth at least an hour of play for 2 tickets in a format that's not based on Voltrons.
Yeah, and
I think I mentioned this before, but I don't like Theros.
I've quit drafting Theros after the last draft. It was like I think I last drafted Theros 2 weeks ago. Just didn't feel like drafting it. It's like the format the drafting Theros got boring, and I think as a general part, talking to Belts is like, yeah, drafts we've been barely getting people showing up, or not just enough to have a tournament. It's like because everyone who is interested in Theros, they buy boxes at a time in our area, so they already got the cards they want. They have no need to really draft it because they're getting it. They already got everything they wanted out of the set. Because as much as Theros was a really cool concept by Wizards, they made it so you have your 10 or 15 cards that everybody wants, and everybody bought like mad to get them. But now that everyone's bought like mad to get exactly what they want, now they don't even really care about getting any more. It's like, hey, I want my Thassa. I got my place out of Thassas. I'm good now. I really don't care. Which I mean, it's the downfall of almost every set of Magic that comes out. You always have the cards that everybody wants. But you have some sets like Return to Ravnica was a good example of that. Return to Ravnica was just generally fun to draft.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a good set, and it came from a popular block that everyone wanted to see again, and it was just fun to draft. In general, it was a great set to draft, and I really think it's just really weird. Theros drafts out really, really weird. So.
No, I mean, everything that people have said is that it's actually a really good format to draft. And I'm just like, I don't like the format at all.
Well, it's all based on enchantments, and it's like the person with the biggest creature wins.
Yeah.
That's pretty much every match I've had. Every match I've done was the person with the best creatures won. Had nothing to do with being the Rakdos deck, or being the control deck, or being the tempo deck, or whatever it was. My creature's bigger than yours, and it's going to stomp over everything that you put out, so let's go on to a new game. So, but it is what it is. It's Magic. It has its ups and downs. I think all of us that have been playing this game long enough realize that, so it's not that big of a deal. So, but I don't know. What do we have for articles? we've got an article from MTGO Academy from Michael Radzwilla. That's an awesome last name. I like it. It's an article about a Midnight Presence deck, which we've talked about this deck before. But being that we're left with less of a combo deck, it isn't surprising that you're starting to see these decks come to the point where people are getting interested in them because they're looking for a combo deck, and Midnight Guard and Presence of Gond is fits in that category of being a combo deck. Which in this article, the article was pretty good. I read through it. Which immediately brought my eye to this is the fact that they were comparing it to one of my favorite modern decks ever, Grix Twin.
Yeah.
It's the modern deck that I have in paper. It's a deck I spent a lot of money to make. It's basically our classic Midnight Guard Presence of Gone combo, and they're comparing it to the Splinter Twin Pestermite Deceiver Exarch combo, which, yeah, it's a thing. I mean, they're similar. They're very, very similar. It makes a bunch of dudes. It makes a bunch of dudes, and you can win off of it. But I think obviously we're looking at Pauper to a format where you're using rares, so the automatically everyone's like, oh well, the Splinter Twin combo is just better because it has the rares and stuff. It's like, yeah, this one falls apart. The Midnight Guard Presence of Gone combo falls apart a little bit easier, but you're playing Pauper, so that you're gonna have that. You're playing in a format where it's a strategy like that is winnable anyway. So, oh well, you know.
Yeah.
But,
it's just like Splinter Twin, though. It does just like it's really hard to beat a counterspell deck. But if you're not encountering a counterspell deck, you basically just need to protect your guy.
Yeah.
And doesn't Cyclops decks, don't they already do that?
Yeah, Cyclops decks do that too. I mean, you just basically build the deck around those. In this case, the twin deck, being I have one, it's basically building a deck around 12 cards. Is what you're doing. And my version actually is a Grix Twin. I'm actually running a little bit of black to play Terminate and stuff like that. Some creature kill cards, along with some cards like what is it? Kozilek's Inquisition.
Yeah.
And stuff like that until I can get a hold of Thoughtseizes. Because I'm not going to pay the ungodly amount of money they want for them right now. It's just not happening.
Oh, it's only $7. It's fine.
Not in paper. In paper, they're $25 a pop. So I'm not paying $20 for one card. That's just not even happening. It's not even. I refuse. I absolutely refuse to pay that much money on a card.
All right, check your Skype window.
Yep.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry.
Cool, no problem.
I didn't think my laptop was going to die that fast. Like, it
Yeah,
was just
yeah,
screaming down.
yeah. All right, so where were we? Basically, I talked about that. In this article, the Michael gives three different versions of this deck that are in the Midnight. This is your first one is your basic Midnight Presence version 1. It just runs your basic, getting the combo as quickly as possible. And then we go down even further, and we've got Green White Soul Sisters, which is your Soul Sisters deck without the Midnight. I'm guessing that, yeah, why is this even in here? Why is he even talking about it? It's kind of, yeah, considering the Soul Sisters list went 4-0, a 4-0 list in the daily. Okay. And then he talk about taking the Soul Sisters deck and the Midnight combo deck and making Green-White Midnight Sisters, which basically it's your Midnight Sisters with that combo in play to make it so you're just never going to die, ever.
Yep.
Because you can infinite out your life total, and they'll never be able to touch you. So... Which sounds like fun. That'd be fun to actually do once in a daily. Be like, you're never gonna kill me. Just gain some ridiculous amount, like 5,000 life, and just be like, okay, I'm not. Do whatever you're gonna do.
Yeah.
You're not gonna do 5,000 damage.
So life gain's pretty relevant, actually. The Soul Sisters deck works on a couple different fronts, in that you can just play a couple. Basically play it as a fair Soul Sisters deck, and then if you happen to assemble the combo, great. Otherwise, you can play it basically like a White Weenie type of deck.
Yeah.
But you don't have to assemble the combo to win with the Soul Sisters deck.
No, you don't.
Which is why I like that version better.
Yeah, and then I'm guessing this Green White is just a play on trying to put the two decks together into one. So.
Well, you need the Presence of Gond and Midnight Gods, which is green and white, so yeah.
Yeah. But it looks pretty interesting. It looks like something that I might mess around with later. So that's a pretty good article. I read through that. Pretty good. And then we have an article by Ryan Bouchard. I'm not going to go much into this article because it's a big article with lots of explanations. But basically, this is an article by Ryan Bouchard. The article is titled Comfort Zone. And basically what he's talking about is how when you talk about the standard format of Magic, or in any format really, how you have those big cards that everybody wants right away. They're really, really expensive, but people seem to forget the bulk rares, those bulk rares and stuff like that end up being something later on down the road. Like they may not be worth much, but $1 right now, but you find out later on that keeping a playset of that $1 rare pays off a few months down the road when they go up in cost. And I've noticed that coming from a card shop, you tend to see that after a set's been out of print for a while, all of a sudden these cards go up in price, and you have all these people just dumping all these bulk rares out early on when they first come out, and then they're just like, well, it's a junk card, I don't care. And then you find those same people, which I found hilarious, coming back to buy those cards that they called bulk rares that were junk after it goes out of print for like $5-6 a pop. When they were just dumping them off freely when the set first came out. And basically, he's just talking about how he's a Commander player, and how some of these cards, because of Commander, are actually going up in value because of that. Commander has almost given new life to some of these cards, and making them valuable. And it doesn't hurt. And as a rule of thumb, when a new set comes out and I'm buying for it, being I am an EDH player, but I do have a tendency to keep at least one of every rare just in case it does go up. You never know. I mean, the Magic card market plays off so much like a real life stock market. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So you just got to be careful, and that's basically all he's talking about is in general. The whole article goes into that and just card investment, financial stuff, and all that. So, pretty interesting article, something to look at. And then we have an article by Jason Gray from MTGO Strat. It's a blue-black mill deck, blue-black mill top 8 deck list. And he talks about the deck. And I've actually played against this deck. Even blue-black mill standard Pauper was actually a thing before the cycle went away. And that deck is a nightmare to go against, because if you want to play playing a creature deck against this deck is hard. It is really, really hard to play creatures against this deck because it eats every creature that you put out.
Yeah, it's pretty much impossible to play creatures against the deck.
Yeah, it's super hard. I think the only way I ended up actually beating one of these decks, was because I had enough heavy red burn to kill him. And that's it.
What I hate about this deck now is that there's no Curse of the Bloody Tombs. There's no fast way to win. It's always going to be an insanely long game.
Yeah.
It's like you have two win cons. You can mill them out, or you can beat them down with Archaeomancers.
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, that's all you can do, and it's ridiculous. It's just a crazy, crazy deck.
Well, yeah, so as strong as the deck may be, oh, man, I don't ever want to play this.
Yeah, it's one of those matches that if you're one of those players that doesn't want to give up, you have that thought in your back of your mind, like, I can pull out of this, You're going to be spending the full 30 minutes thinking that, and not and realizing that there's not much you could actually do.
Yeah, at least the blue black mill before rotation, it was like the Curse of the Bloody Tombs at least had a decent clock, right?
Yeah.
It was like, I guess probably the worst case scenario is Curse of the Bloody Tomb is going to make your opponent die in 20 turns. Yeah. This one's like 40 turns is when your opponent's going to die.
Yeah, like 40 turns, and it's just agonizing the entire time. Yeah. And then I remember when the blue-black mill first happened, like, then people would start playing creature recursion from their graveyard, and then that's when they added crypt incursion, and that wasn't even viable anymore. Yeah. Just it's a good deck. I mean, for the mill player, it's a great deck to play. It's agonizing for your opponent, like everything else. That is a good deck.
Yep.
But it's a good deck. Didn't you say there was a follow-up article to this?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it wasn't a follow-up. It was like basically one of the ones that Brennan posted today.
Yeah.
And basically Boros won the PRE from yesterday or today or something like that. I don't know.
Okay. But there's a pretty good article. Talks about a really good standard Pauper deck, so it's there. But basically, that's all I really found. I tried bringing these good reads to like 3 articles instead of 4 or 5, so we're just not dropping a whole bunch of articles. So, right. But yeah, it's there. So you guys can tune in, and when you tune in every week, you'll get. We'll mention about 3. I'll mention about 3 decent articles every week, and we'll just go off that. So, but yeah, so next we got our metagame. The first daily here I saw, the Urza deck is still a thing. No, it's still getting 4 O's, apparently.
Yeah.
What was this guy's name? I can't remember. Pegleg, yeah.
Yep, Pegleg. So yeah, the Urzatron right now is the number 3 deck in the metagame.
Okay.
Delver is first at 17%. Mono Black Control is second at 14%, and Urzatron is 9% in the meta.
Okay.
So, yeah.
It's I kind of expected people would try this out, and even if it would win for a while, I figured this deck would eventually go on a decline. But it's still there, so still be looking for it because it's still a thing.
Yeah, I played it. Like I said, I played it on a daily today. It's a lot more consistent than I thought.
Oh.
It was. This was my biggest problem with it initially. It was like, okay, well, it's not consistent, and it's going to die a lot to hard counter spells, so I mean, I played a little bit of a different variation of the Tron deck than what you're seeing here from
Yeah. What
Peg
did you
Leg.
do different?
I have 2 Ulamog's Crushers, an additional 2 Ulamog's Crushers, so I'm up to 3 Ulamog's
Okay.
Crushers. I have 4 Fangren Marauders and 2 Maul Splicers in the main deck.
Okay.
So my threat count is like 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 more big threats than these lists are typically running.
So basically, what you're doing is instead of relying on 2 or 3 threats, you're just adding more for the counter spell deck to work around.
Yeah. So basically, I can just keep on playing into counterspells, and eventually they're gonna
Run out.
run out of counterspells. Hopefully.
You're banking on them running out.
Yeah.
Which isn't that far out of the realm of possibility against something like a Delver deck, because your counter spells are, you only have a few. I mean,
Yeah. I say
And
the Delver deck has only got the 4 hard counterspells, and then usually they'll run anywhere from 3 to 5 other counterspells like deprives and excludes and
Yeah.
stuff. But the thing
So-
is, they have to spend a hard counterspell on Mole Drifters, because Mole Drifters wrecks their entire deck pretty much.
yeah,
And if they have to spend their hard counters on your Mole Drifters, then you can land things like Fangren Marauders and regain some lost life, thereby setting them back on the tempo that they're trying to take advantage of.
yeah,
So if you land a Fangren Marauder and activate crack 1 egg, then you're way ahead. And then
Yeah.
if you land Ulamog's Crusher, if it attacks twice against a Delver player, they lose.
yeah.
Pretty much universally. So.
Oh yeah. I mean, Ulamog's Crushers, it's a win con in and of itself. It hits the board and you just win most of the time.
Yeah, and then you have the other out of the X spells, right? The Rolling Thunder, Care of X Torch.
Yeah.
If they spend all their hard counter spells on that, and you have enough mana, you can just torch them out.
Yeah. I mean, it's yeah, and I mean that's that. But I mean, yeah, I mean, like I said, I figured Urza's people would mess around with them. I really thought in the back of my mind, I'm like, they're gonna mess with this deck. They're gonna use these. So, but yeah, so that's pretty interesting. Peg leg 4-0 to that. But yeah, that's what I kind of got out of that daily. If you look at the rest of the daily, it was a lot of your usual suspects. Your Delver was still showing up. Your Stompy was showing up. So a Slippery Boggle deck. Boggle's still a thing. Deluxecoff. Got 3-1 with that. But yeah, so we still have our regular older decks that have been winning for a while in there. Just Urza's kind of. I don't want to say it's a new hotness. Because I mean, I
no,
still
it pretty much is.
You think so? Okay. I thought it might need a few more weeks of being something before it would be considered that, but so
It's been around for a few weeks now. It's just picked up.
Yeah.
It's picked up a lot in popularity in the past 2 weeks, though, as people are
Yeah.
picking it up and learning how to play it.
oh,
Heck, I know I'm taking it to another daily for sure.
because I remember,
I was so close.
yeah, because I remember it was a long before episode 100 that a deck had come up using Tron. And at that time, we thought, at that time I remember talking about it when we were talking about it on the show, and it was like, hey, sounds like fun, but this could never be a thing.
Yeah, no, no, with Cloud Post. Cloud Post is obviously the better engine, but
Yeah,
Tron has a place.
yeah, it does now. But so that's that daily. Our next daily we have here, Scent of Cinder Ichiban. That's the name of the guy. And let's kind of go over this list quick. It's your basic red deck wins. It's a 4-0 list. It's a basic red deck wins. 2 Forgotten Caves, 17 Mountains, and 4 Keldon Marauders. 4 Chain Lightnings, 4 Fire Blasts, 4 Flame Rifts, 2 Incinerates, 4 Lava Spike, 4 Lightning Bolts, 4 Needle Drop, 4 Rift Bolts, 3 Scent of Cinder. Yeah, that's a weird one. 4 Searing Blaze and 1 Shard Volley. And your sideboard is basically the same with the 3 Electricities, 3 Flaring Pains, 3 Gorilla Shaman, 3 Pyroblast, 3 Smash to Smithereens. My question here is, what was this guy thinking with Scent of Cinder?
He was thinking of the nut draw where he reveals 6 red cards with Scent of Cinder.
And hitting for 6 on
Yeah,
turn
and
2.
hitting for 6 on turn 2. It's not going to happen like that.
I think
Scent of Cinder's only good in your opening hand.
Yeah.
Man, if you top deck it like turn 3 or 4, you're gonna be like, why did I put this crappy card in my deck? It's a sorcery speed shock at that point. If that, it may not even be that.
Yeah, I don't know, I guess he 4-0'd with this list. I'm willing to bet that Scent of Cinder did not do that much work as he thought it would.
I don't know, it might have. Like I said, it's kind of like if you hope for the nut draw, sometimes you're gonna get it, right?
Yeah.
When I played Tron in today's daily, I assembled Tron on turn 3 like out of like 10 games that I played. I assembled Tron on turn 3 on like probably 4 games.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can nut draw. And I know one of those games I blindly drew into Tron. I didn't even use any expedition maps or anything.
Nice.
So
that's awesome.
I started with 2 Tron pieces in my hand. And like the next turn, I drew one. I'm like, okay, well that's sweet.
So, well, I think this is one to watch, see if this card continues, but I really don't think we're going to see Scent of Cinder in the next coming weeks.
No, I don't think so. I think Burn is on the downswing too, as Delver picks up. Like, cause
Yeah.
Burn can't beat Delver, ever.
No, too many counter spells.
Yep.
I mean, we talked about the counter spells before, but your spell stutter sprites eat these things alive.
Yes.
So, yeah, so basically that's where we're at with that. This list is what I found there. And then the only other thing I found on MTGO Academy was this little graph thing that they posted and giving the new percentages. I can't remember what the last update of this was, but the new percentages on the different decks and of 4-0ing and stuff like that. Where we still have Mono MBC at 17% and Affinity at 13%, Delver Blue at 11%, Burn at 8%, but as we talked about before, that's on a decline. So you guys can kind of take this to, take it how you want.
Yeah, I think this graph is from the month of October.
Okay.
Which is why you see so much Mono Black control there.
Yeah.
Because Mono Black control is starting to fall, obviously, again, and somebody had asked me like, why is Mono Black control less popular than Delver now? And I'm like, well, it's because Mono Black control got really greedy and started playing Corrupts, instead of Crypt Rat and Unearth. So the Delver decks capitalized on that, and like, okay, well, if you're not gonna play Crypt Rats, I'll just counterspell you.
Yeah, I mean, Corrupt is. I mean, let's look at the card Corrupt itself. 5 mana, 5 colorless mana, 1 black, and we're gonna deal X damage to however many swamps I control in my hand. I have in play, right?
Yep.
If you're looking at that card on paper, it is looking really good. I mean, ideally, you're looking at that card saying, "Hey, I could build something around this." But the downside to that is you need, at the end of the day, it is still a 6-cast spell that you have to have at least 6 mana to play. And you don't want to cheat playing it faster because you're not getting your value out of the cards. So you literally have to wait for those 6 swamps to even make it viable. And in a deck where you're seeing these NBC players, some of these NBC players still playing the Baron Moors, because I've seen a few decks like this playing in the practice room where people are getting greedy and playing Corrupt, but they're still playing the Baron Moor and the Polluted Mires, which, if you're gonna play Corrupt, you can't play those lands.
I mean, you still can. It's just you need to be much lighter on those lands.
Yeah, I mean, but it's still a risk. It's still really risky in my eyes. I mean, if I look at it this way, if you're going to be the Corrupt player, then be the Corrupt player and play the swamps.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But if you're gonna you're not gonna if you're not gonna go that route, then don't use the corrupts and just go with the crypt rats. Go with the the ravenous rats and that stuff, because that will get you there every time. That's why those cards are so good.
Yep.
You know, it's just part of me thinks that I think when Mono Black Control came back, everyone got so excited that they were just like, "Hey, we're gonna play the crap out of this and start using the pet cards I like to use." But some of those pet cards don't work, and they're exactly that. They're pet cards. So,
yeah.
but because myself, like my first introduction to Pauper was listening to episode 2 or 3 of Pauper to the People, and I was just a listener, and Chris talking about the Mono Black Control deck and actually building it and like, hey, this is a fun deck to play, and then it fell out of favor for a while, or for a long time. But I think Mono Black Control, if it wants to continue in this meta, they're gonna have to just go back to those cards. They're gonna have to go back to the Crypt Rats and the Ravenous Rats, the Chittering Rats, and stay in that realm if people want the deck to stay in the meta.
Yeah,
it has to happen. It has to.
So I'm not saying that you can't play Mono Black Control at all. You can't play Gray Merchants, but like I really hate Corrupt. It's just so slow, and it gives the Delver player like a virtual mulligan against you. And you should beat Delver, right?
Yeah.
As a Mono Black player, you should always beat Delver. That should be like one of your best matchups.
Yeah, the more they draw, the happier you are.
Yeah. So yeah, so as a Mono Black Control, your deck needs to be able to do what it does best, which is beat Delver. The problem I think with Mono Black Control now is Burn is a rough matchup for it because it just can't gain life fast enough for because Burn has that turn 4 kill, and that's when your soonest life gain comes online is turn 4 with Tendrils of Corruption.
Yeah. That's assuming they're even playing creatures.
Yeah. So that's when you're... And that's another thing, too, with Mono Black Control is most of these decks have just gotten rid of Ravenous Rats and Liliana Specters, so they're not forcing the burn decks to discard anymore.
Yeah. Which is a mistake.
I
like the discard. I like the Mono Black Control discard engine because when that engine is up, it is oppressive and it sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks for your opponent to play against because virtually they can't draw anything that you're gonna make. They can't draw anything and keep it because you're gonna make them get rid of it immediately. So.
Yeah. So I mean that means that basically your game 1 as a Mono Black Control player against Burn is always just dead, and then game 2 it's going to be an uphill battle too.
Yeah.
Because you have to hopefully get your sideboard cards in, like the Wrench Mines and your Okuba Gangs. Mm-hmm. So the other reason that Mono Black Control is falling out of favor a little bit is Affinity. Right? They can just ATOG fling you on turn 5, and there's not much you can do about it.
Yeah, that Perilous Research, is really, really good in that deck.
Yeah.
It's scary. I almost want to say it's creepily good in that deck.
Yep.
Because I built that list and tried it, and I think I played through 4 matches with Affinity with Perilous Research, and I was like, oh, I can get behind this.
Yeah.
I don't mind drawing more cards and playing more stuff. This isn't bad at all. So.
Yeah, that's sort of what I think now. This is why Mono Black Control is still number 2, right? It's only behind Pauper, and it's a solid 5% ahead of Tron, which is the next highest up. So Mono Black Control still has game, obviously, even with the heavier leaning on Corrupt and Gray Merchant that it's come to now. But so maybe these players are in the right, and that's what they have to do to beat the new, like the Tron and the Affinity and the whatever is that they have to run Corrupts to win those matches. I don't really know, because I'll never run Corrupt. It's always just it's so depressing to have a Corrupt, like 2 Corrupts in your hand against a Delver player, and you're like, God, I wish these were just not Corrupts. I would rather they be Swamps.
Yeah, I wish there's something else I could do. So, but yeah, it is what it is, and with Pauper, the metagame changes so much that's part of the reason what That's part of the reason why people continue to play this format, because you can have like a few weeks of the same thing, and all of a sudden something new comes out and just completely changes the face of the metagame.
Yep.
So that's the fun thing and alluring thing about the format in general. So,
Yep. All right.
but yeah,
So
so that's that one. Uh, and that's all we really got, or that's all we really, or do you got your things here?
yeah, just a couple links. Just what I played. I played Delver for
Okay.
I won the tournament. Sweet. I think I already
Yeah.
mentioned all this.
Okay.
I don't remember. Did
Uh,
I?
but
And then
yeah,
I've
we'll
got
add
well,
it. Yeah.
yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I said then I've got the YouTube videos. So I posted my Tron daily event on Magic Gathering Strat YouTube channel, which I already
Yeah.
mentioned this. So I keep on re-mentioning this. Chris added this stuff out, and I
Yeah.
re-mention it.
Yeah. No, I have I actually your YouTube videos. I have like when I'm sitting there, when I'm sitting in sitting at BioLife donating. If I've gotten to the point where I've been sick of watching Hulu and stuff. It's like, I see what Chris is up to. So I've been watching those, and I'm sitting there doing nothing, which is just funny because I'll have like people come, or like the nurses come by, like, "Oh, how you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm doing fine." I'm like, "What you watching?" And they kind of, before I even say anything, they kind of look at the screen and like it's like completely foreign language to them.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny. But yeah, so yeah, that's there. That they'll be on the notes. Right, check out Chris's stuff if you want. And then topic one, and now we're actually going to spend a little bit of time on this. Standard Pauper event reports by PDC Magic. We have two of them. One comes from 10/28/13, and the other one comes from 11/4/13. And we're just kind of going to go over the first place lists here. Uh, our one on the 28th here. This is where the Demir's deck came in.
Yep.
It's by Adner, I think here. Yep. Again, it's that deck we were talking about. We'll just go over the deck list quick here. It's 4 Chaomancers, 4 Cancel, 4 Devour Flesh, 4 Essence Scatter, 4 Grizzly Spectacles, 4 Psychic Strike, 3 Pilfered Plans. That card's fun to play with. 2 Crypt Incursions, 10 Swamp, 8 Islands, and 4 Dimir Guild Gates. And then on the sideboard, it has 3 Beckon Apparitions, 3 Shrivel, 3 Duress, 1 Crypt Incursion, 1 Cremate. Looks like he played against. Is it? Oh, no, yeah, played against Is it? Then played it one against. What is this deck here?
Fire, water, burn.
Fire, Water, Burn. An Esper deck. Lost to a Junk deck. That doesn't surprise me. The Junk, that doesn't surprise me at all, because Junk is, if Junk does not need that much to be ridiculous. Virtually all I've played the Junk deck before, and if you start out with a good hand, you don't need anything in your library. If your starting hand is solid, if you have a really good starting hand, your person milling you can mill to their heart's desire. You're going to kill them.
Yeah, but this isn't junk enchantments. It's just junk good stuff.
Oh, Junk good stuff. Oh, my
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's actually interesting that he lost. Must have been like some mulligan problems.
Yeah. But no, I've played the Junk enchantment deck against Mill, and Mill has a hard time against that one. Just because, if, like I said, if you have a good opening hand, you don't need anything in your library. It really doesn't matter. You just need the land. Once you get your starting land, you're good. So, but yeah, that's that. So that's like his only loss was that Junk good stuff. Looks like he took out Gruul. GR Beast is probably Gruul.
Yeah.
Yep, Gruul aggro. Then another Junk. And Bad Touch. That's a Golgari list. Wow, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I like Golgari. It's one of my pet colors which I really, really like. They just that never really works.
Yeah, it's a Golgari like a devotion deck. So
Okay. Yeah.
right, it's just using green for basically blockers, like to basically block flyers, I guess.
No, to stop the flyers.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
got the Deadly Recluse and Trestle Trolls.
Cool, cool.
So
Yeah. So that was a 1-0 deck. Looks like a pretty solid mill deck. So, but again, it's that slow mill which is agonizing.
yeah,
Just agonizing slow mill. But so that was that list. Then we have this next one, which actually makes me pretty happy because again, it's one of the color combos I like to play. Boros. So we got a first place Boros list.
yeah.
I just looking at this list when I first looked at it just made me happy because I'm like, this looks like fun.
Yeah, this is sweet. It's very much all in.
Yeah, it's very much just I'm gonna continue to play creatures, and I'm just gonna keep beating you in the face till you don't get up anymore. uh,
So it's interesting. This is like a pre M14 list,
yeah,
basically,
basically that's all it is.
because all they replace, like, if you look at the comments here, it says
Okay, you can go for it and go through the list if you want.
could not find main deck Lightning Strike, which Searing Spear. So yeah, the Boros list that won here is 4 Daring Skyjacks, 4 Gorehouse Chainwalkers, 4 Skynet Legionaries, 4 Splatter Thugs, 4 Viashino First Blades, 4 Wojak Halberdiers, 3 Foundry Street Denizens, 3 Rectus Shred Freaks, 2 Rubble Belt Makas, 3 Madcap Skills, 7 Mountains, 9 Mountains, 7 Plains, and 4 Boros Guild Gates. There's presumably some main deck cards missing because PDC doesn't have the right database update or something. So
Yeah,
there's some number of Lightning Strikes and God's Willings in the main deck.
yeah, to protect your creatures.
Yep. On the sideboard, you have 3 Keening Apparitions, 3 Annihilating Fires, 3 Chandra's Outrage, 2 Pacifism, and 2 Azorius Arresters.
Okay. Yeah, this I like this list like a lot just because it is. I mean, I think this deck, even for your control player, is a nightmare. Like, I couldn't imagine playing a control deck against this would be very fun.
Yeah.
Because it's like go ahead, counter it. I'm just going to bring another one out. I don't care.
Yeah. And I think it's really what he's going for there. It's just
Yeah.
swarming.
It's just like Skynet Legionary counter. Yeah, that's fine. I got another one in my hand.
Yep.
He'll see it next turn. No big deal. But let's see what this one went against. Round 1, it went against a no deck found, so apparently, whatever. Second, it was a Gray Merchant deck.
Yep.
But they're banking on the Merchant, so that's much too slow for the Boros will have you beat down before that. Lost to Fire, Water, Burn. An Izzet list.
Yeah, is it control list, looks like?
Is a control list, yeah. So I lost to that. Then it lost to beat Dimir Control. And then that was round 4, Dimir Control.
Yep.
And then on the top 8, Fire, Water, Burn. Looks like he came back and beat the deck the second time around.
Yep.
Well, that makes sense too. That makes sense that Fire, Water, Burn may have beat him here, and then he come around and win on this one. Because going into your top 8, you would be expecting this deck, and you would know how to combat against it, so you'd be ready for it.
Yeah.
So that doesn't surprise me that he came on top on the second meeting of taking that deck on, just because I played this deck before, I know what to expect. So that kind of gives you a bit of leeway to play around certain spells and really start baiting out certain spells because you know they have them. He beat out what is it? Beat out an Orzhov deck? No, is that? Yeah, it's an Orzhov deck.
Yeah.
And then beat out what? Yeah, sorry, you gonna say something?
I say yeah, nothing.
Oh,
You're good.
beat out Orzhov and then beat out Mono Black Devotion again. It's just, the Mono Black Devotion thing. It's just everyone is really liking that and wanting to try that out.
Yeah, I mean,
So
it's strong, right? Mono Black Devotion's probably still going to be the best deck, even if it did lose to Boros here, because
yeah,
it lost to Boros in 3 games.
yeah,
So it could just be like a die roll type thing.
yeah. And I think what really makes this deck pop is the fact that he has madcap skills. If you coming from playing drafting at madcap skills, like when I was drafting Return to Ravnica or the Ravnica block, madcap skills was the card that if you were playing red, you were going to win with.
Yeah.
If they couldn't remove that creature, you were going to win because that madcap skills is ridiculously good. It's just a really, really good card.
Yep.
So, and then don't even start with me as playing some guy, and somehow he got madcap skills out, and he got the creature that had madcap skills first strike. That just makes it worse. It's
Yeah, it
like,
makes it to
oh,
where that guy's you can never block it, and
yeah, it's like, yeah, well, now it has first strike, so even if I do try to block it, my creatures are going to die anyway. So,
yep.
so, but yeah, that's that. I do have to say, so far, what we're seeing in standard Pauper, the decks are pretty interesting. It's a lot of really cool stuff. A lot of new kind of, I won't say necessarily new stuff, but cool stuff out there.
Yeah.
Which going into our standard Pauper events and talking about the events goes into our brew of the month, and sounds like it's not doing too hot for us.
No, not really. Uh, Other decks attacking, I can beat the aggro decks, right? If I'm up against aggro, I beat the aggro deck.
Yeah,
I'm also pretty good against Izzet control decks,
yeah.
but any black-based control deck, if they nuke my dude, I'm just dead.
There's no coming back.
Yeah.
So far, what I've seen with playing my mono green list, my mono green aggro list is, and we talked about this before, but mono green Stompy and standard Pauper just isn't what it is in Classic. It's much slower. All your big Stompy creatures are 3s and 4s compared to having your Classic list being 1 and 2 drop beaters that are good. I think the deck really just fails for what Stompy's supposed to do. Stompy is supposed to be I'm laying creatures fast and I'm hitting, where with standard Pauper we just don't have that. We just don't have that ability to do that.
Yeah, the pump spells aren't good enough for it,
No,
but
they aren't.
and the small creatures are just not powerful enough. Like your small
Yeah.
creatures are just so you're not really playing a stompy deck. You're playing a ramp deck or
Yeah.
a ramp or a mid range deck. Really, I think
Yeah,
mid range is really more of where it's at.
it's more mid range, I think.
Yep. So and the mid range decks are going to lose pretty hard to the hardcore control decks.
Yeah, because they have time to sit and build a mana base up to answer whatever you're going to play.
Yep.
It's,
So if they remove your dudes and then they get a high enough devotion count and play like 2 Gray Merchants, you just lose.
yeah,
So I think that's a big problem with the deck. Is it just can't beat Gray Merchant.
yeah.
And if
I mean,
if you can't beat Gray Merchant in this type of meta,
No.
you can't play the deck.
Yeah, you can't. And I think a big thing is if any green does succeed in standard Pauper right now, it needs helping colors. Whether it be blue, whether it be red, whether it be black. It needs colors to help it win. It can't do it on its own. Where mono black you built the right mono black list, mono black can succeed on its own, and it's really, really hard. And I've been playing my matches and stuff, and it's a grueling uphill battle, even to pull off one win, which I have done. I have lost one. I have lost and won one game in the middle, but even winning it, even when you do pull off the win, it doesn't seem like a very great victory anyway, considering that your opponent probably just didn't draw what they needed
Yep.
to win, and you won because they were slower because you had the time to build up and they couldn't answer it because they got bad draws, which I don't think is necessarily a good way of winning anyway. I mean, that's not telling anything.
So I guess the other way that we could go with it is sort of make like a hexproof theme, we have Cerulean Gatekeepers, right? Or not Cerulean Gatekeepers, Glade Cover Scouts.
We have the Glade covers, yeah.
And Rumbleblack Rhinos.
Yeah.
So that's
we have 8 hexproof creatures to play around, so yeah.
In green, yeah.
In green.
So then you go... I think you would probably need to splash white for it.
Maybe, do we want to change it up? Do we want to change it up again and go with building and trying something different again? And
I don't know if it's worth it, though, because hexproof is, well, I don't like playing hexproof personally, but...
I don't either.
I think that's where you need to go, though, with the type of deck. If we want to keep on working on this, we can go with a hexproof theme, a hexproof sub-theme, and just try and make some forced adaptations work, and...
Yeah, forced adaptations. We have all the enchant creatures to work with.
Yeah, like Leaf Crown Dryads and whatnot, so we can try it.
Might as well. I mean, we have all month to do this, so...
And still play Nessian Asps and stuff as a sort of backup plan. You know, play
pretty much.
Big fatties as a backup plan.
Yeah, pretty much. I think that's the route we need to go.
Are there any lifelink auras? I guess Mark of the Vampire. So I think I might actually go for splashing black.
Yep, we might have to try building junk again. Black, white, green junk.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know if you need white. Maybe you do, but
I think. Yeah. Well, you want ethereal armor.
Okay.
The card's too good. Come on.
I was just thinking of like stab wound and.
Well, stab wound's good too, but I mean, ethereal armor. Come on, really? Card's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun to play with.
So then once again we're looking at the junk enchantments, and then it's like...
I know. We'll see. Let's try doing black, green, and option of white if we have to.
Yeah, I want to do like a black-green mid-range.
Okay, let's try that. Let's do black, green, and use white only if we have to.
Alright.
Okay, we'll do that.
Sweet.
But yeah, so we kind of got a plan of attack here for the next week. On to your wonderful Rage of the Week.
Once again, brought to you courtesy of Justin, who's been courteous enough to share these things with me. He watches all the daily events, recaps, and whatnot, so he sees everything that happens. So the first Rage of the Week is from the guy Dre. And Dre comments, "Lucky noob." So Justin's comment on this is, "Noob, noun, a player who regularly wins daily events and just 2-0'd you to reach a 4-0 record." I'm gonna wait for Nate to come back now.
All right.
Okay. So
Sorry.
I'm just going to recap it. Chris
Go
is
for
going
it.
to edit this part. So the first Rage of the Week is brought to you by the user Dre, who comments to his opponent, "Lucky noob. Dre is conceded from the game." So Justin comments, "Noob, noun, a person or a player who regularly wins in daily events and just 2-0'd you to reach a 4-0 record." The second Rage of the Week is brought to you by Turbo Kitty 3000, which he did a pretty crazy rage on Sneak Attack Kid like a week or so back. So I'm beginning to think Turbo Kitty 3000 is just a rager. So
He must be.
and this is sad because he's supposedly he's a pro, like a platinum level pro or something like
Yeah.
that. So anyway, he's very, very bad. So I'm actually going to call him out now. I wasn't going to call him out before because, like, well, you know what? Maybe he's just like a good player who got a really bad beat and he was really mad that day. But no, the second rage means he's just a rager. So
Yeah.
so he's commenting. He's being attacked. He's playing against Stompy, I guess. And it looks like he might be playing Burn. Yeah. So Turbo Kitty 3000 is playing Burn. So Turbo Kitty 3000 said, "It's 4%. I can't lose this game, so I guess gonna be Shuffler again." And I'm assuming he's got to be like English is not his first language here.
Apparently.
And he says, "I have 80% win percentage in daily with Azorius Kitty." And then his opponent responds, "Why would you play anything else?" And Turbo Kitty says, "Because I want to watch a movie. I hate mono red." And then Turbo Kitty says, "That's dumb. Both games easy win if deck draw like 90% draw is what's supposed to." I think he said that he has a 90% win percentage if he draws what he's supposed to. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I've played Stompy against Burn a few times, and I felt like it was
Pretty
even.
solid.
Yeah, because both of them have a 4-turn Goldfish, and that's basically
Yeah.
what both decks are doing. They're Goldfishing against each other.
Yeah.
Burn can have a slight edge with Searing Blaze, if they can manage to Searing Blaze one of Stompy's guys, but I still think it's pretty fairly even.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay, and if he's that concerned about winning, maybe he shouldn't be watching a movie.
Yeah.
If he's that concerned about winning, maybe he should be focused on the game instead of watching a movie.
Well, I mean, you
Possibly.
don't really need to do anything with Burn, right? Burn is almost completely non-interactive.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it's completely non-interactive because there are some decisions you have to make and some end of turn plays and whatever, but for the most part, Burn is pretty much a solitaire deck.
Yeah.
So the third rage and the best rage of the week is brought to you by a guy named Beat the Bots. So here's your shout out, Beat the Bots. He's playing with Strandba, who's playing Delver. Beat the Bots is playing, looks like White Weenie.
Yeah.
And he comments, Beat the Bots comments, "Your deck is a giant pile of blank. Just so you know, I've never seen a worse pile of trash in a Pauper tournament ever." Strandba responds, "Poor you." And Strandba wins the game on turn 13. So
That's funny.
I like Justin's comment here. Under the category of "I can't believe I lost to that," when that is a well-known top-played deck in Pauper with few alterations.
Yeah, it has been a well played, a very good deck for like ever since Magic first began.
Yeah.
Pretty much, White Weenie has always been there since like probably Alpha Beta, because it's good, straight to the point.
So
What do you do?
Rages of the week. Thank you for Beat the Bots, Turbo Kitty 3000, and Dre for providing our listeners with entertainment.
Yes. I'm going to be really sad when the day people at Ragers realize that we're doing this, and all of a sudden, like, you have weeks upon, oh yeah, no one really rages anymore.
I say, Justin's he's commented that a lot of people that raging has gone down a lot, and it's
ever since we started bringing it up.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's just since we started bringing it up or people just got used to the meta and like the types of decks
Yeah.
that have been happening.
It is pretty embarrassing though to like if I was one of the ragers to be like coming across this podcast and be like, oh crap, people are watching. But yeah, so that's good. Thanks, Justin, for that. You got anything else before I make an announcement?
No, I'm good.
I got one announcement to make here. This is a message going out to what is his name now? Making. Where is it here? Message going out to Making Smart Plays. Received your message, sent it back to you. Please respond to me, and we can arrange that. So, yeah. This is my just letting you know because I know you listen to the show. Yeah, just let us know. Just get in contact with me. We'll set that up. What else? Basically, no, that's about it. Other than the fact that we have Chris going back on editing duties for the show to make it a heck of a lot easier all around for everybody. I want to thank Chris for doing that. Because I am nowhere near the editing capabilities that he does. He's like awesome at it. So, Yeah, we got that. But other than that, I think we have a show. So basically, until next week, this is Nate.
And I'm Chris.
This is Pauper to the People.